For many others, including myself, Brenner era was a return to form for Thomas. Back to more grounded stories with distracting the characters' dialogue. It really felt like classic Thomas again. So many great episodes came out of this era, like Henry's Hero, Bill or Ben, The Thomas Way, Last Train for Christmas, the fucking Miniature Engines trilogy. The list goes on and on. Sure, this era isn't as great as the classic era, but this era, along with the Bubba era for me, are a very close second. But, like all great eras of a TV show, it has its stinkers. And that is why today, I'll be ranking my top 5 picks for my least favorite episodes in the Brenner era. Now, why a top 5 instead of a top 10, you may ask? Well, I quite enjoyed most of the episodes of this era as a whole. Well, with the possible exceptions of like the Flatbeds of Fear or Free Steve Engine's Gruff. But even then, I still find those episodes okay. These ones though are more bad than say okay. Anyways, let's begin. Kicking off the list is Signals Crossed. Now, this is one of 2 episodes that I don't consider to be completely bad. But my biggest issue with this episode is that Toby is such a pussy in this episode. Like, how many times have you been to Napa Junction, Toby? Why are you scared of it now all of a sudden? This episode is just baffling to me. The only positives about this episode is that I love Toby and Henrietta's interactions with each other. That was one of the best things this era did in my opinion. And I quite like the ending. But it's the junction part and Toby's wimpy persona that drags it down. It's not bad per se, but it's just not my cup of tea. Coming in at 4th place is Stevie Stafford. Again, I don't consider this episode to be completely bad, but there are 2 things that make this number 4 for me. The first is, how come Stafford can take trains regularly? I thought his battery prevented him from doing so. The second is that I don't think Stafford needed Thomas and Percy's help to make engine sounds. He could just do that on his own. And when he sees Henry at the docks later on. Not much to say other than this episode is, once again, not my cup of tea. Now it's time for the 3 episodes that I actually consider to be bad. Coming in at 3rd place is Saving Time. Now, season 20 is my favourite Renaissance season, but it's not without sin. I thought Samson was quite an interesting character. But when he took the spotlight and Samson sent for scrap, he started to get a little questionable. And it was this episode that made me think, what was the point of adding him? Oh yeah, merchandise. Thankfully he got redeemed in season 22's Samson and the Fireworks, but this episode portrayed him at his absolute worst. Like, how in the world did he not pop a piston while pulling all of those heavy trucks? This just made Samson a bigger idiot than he already was in season 18. Also, I hate to say it, but while I'm one of the few people who doesn't mind Thomas being in every episode of seasons 19 and 20, Thomas's appearance in this one is one of the few times where it was unnecessary to the plot. You could have just used another character instead of him and it wouldn't make a difference at all. All in all, this is still a pretty bad episode that messes up Samson in my opinion. In 2nd place, we have Henry Spots Trouble. My god. If you thought Maggie was handled badly lately, then you haven't seen shit. I'm definitely not the first person to say that I hate how Henry was handled in the CGI series, and I definitely won't be the last. This episode, though, portrays him at his absolute worst. Like, why in the mother of Titan would he be scared of chickenpox of all things? And why would he think that engines would catch them after only minor incidents? Like Butch splattering Thomas with mud, or Gordon King covered in red paint after a workman knocks it over and Connor runs straight into it. As much as I love season 19, it's episodes like this that really frustrates me. Henry's handled alright in The Beast of Sodor, but in this one? Nah, this ain't it, Chief. All in all, this episode is just so bad. Henry deserved better than this. And my pick for my least favorite Brenner episode goes to Rocky Rescue. Oh god, this episode was just so awful. If you thought Flynn suffered badly in Fiery Flynn and Race to the Rescue, then you haven't seen so much shit like this. This episode portrays the rescue team at their absolute worst. I mean, Thomas's reactions to what's going on in this episode describes it all. Just seeing all of this just makes me go, just get to the fucking point already! This episode was just so awful, and is, in my opinion, the worst episode to come from the Brenner era by far. For as bad as these 5 episodes I just listed are, they don't even come close to the awfulness of both the Hit era and the Nitrogen era's episodes. But hey, at least the Brenner era had quite a lot of standard episodes. Yes, I even like a shed for Edward, don't hate me on this. Next time, we will be covering my picks for the worst episodes in the Big World, Big Adventures era. So prepare yourselves for that.